We aim high, we aim to rise, and every vision that's real is analyzed. Till every fight in my bones has been applied. Every thought I'ma lose will be denied. Dedicated to the cause. I'm back, I'm reborn, that's facts. Now take back what's yours. Rose from the floods. With one breath, the exhale was left. I'm back to show love. What you recommend is what you represent. Gotta fight with a cause for the innocents. That's the mission in, is what we visioning. Everything stops on the drop, cause we listen when 143, 143 speaks. 143, 143 speaks. 143, 143 speaks. From the streets to the most elite. Now who's got the guts to last? I'm in line next. Who's got the guts to pass? I'm in direct. Who can convince the class? Ain't no time left. Welcome to the journey of the mindset.
What's going on, world family? It's your boy Donald Jones, and welcome to another episode of Journey of the Mindset. I am here with Kareem Condison. Get your name right?
Definitely.
All right, so I got his name right. I just had a conversation with Kareem a few weeks ago, and his story pretty much moved me. The way we got connected, I personally feel like it was something that it was definitely meant for us to be able to speak to each other, and just hearing his story just pretty much solidified it. Like, that's it. Like, I really needed to interview him. And I think that your story will definitely benefit the listeners and the viewers of this podcast show. So without further ado, Kareem Condison, welcome to Journey of the Mindset.
Thank you.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
So I know that we spoke. The vibe on the phone was amazing, but your story within itself is something that stood out to me the most. Yeah. I love the connection with you coming here, struggling, trying to live your dream, trying to work towards your dream, not really having that information, but not saying, hey, you know what? I want to give up. I'm not going to continue pursuing my dream. It's too hard. It's too much. It's difficult. I don't know. People are not giving me the right information. Yeah. But instead, you seeked out people that can actually help you. So what I want to talk to you about is, one, the importance about seeking out people that can help you. Two, the importance about when you don't have the information to live your dream, or when things are really hard, or obstacles are just coming in your way, how do you get around it? More so, how did you get around it? So I want to open up the floor to you to tell your story, because this story blew my mind away. And I know for a fact it's going to blow you guys away. So I'm going to shut up. And I'm going to let you do your thing. So first and foremost, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. The best I've felt as an adult, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. You know, I've operated from a place of stress for so many years. Yeah. And with passing the boards and everything, it has provided a period of calmness that I've never experienced as an adult. Yes, I have long days and I have late nights, early morning, but this is exactly what I've asked God for specifically, and I'm thankful for it, you know?
Yes. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. What is it that you're doing right now? What is it that you're pursuing right now?
So right now I am a physical therapist for outpatient orthopedic clinic. Okay. But in my spare time, I am a physical therapist for Condison Physical Therapy. It's a home health physical therapy where I go to patients' home and I provide physical therapy services for them. I enter contracts with another agency that works with the insurance companies, and them and I determine like a percentage of what we're gonna share the revenue to be each time.
Nice. So you're your own businessman pretty much.
Yes.
Creating that financial freedom to be able to move around.
Yes.
What made you say, hey, you know what? I don't want to work for somebody. I want to start kind of like going into my own journey, going into opening up my own business so that way I can do the things that I want to do and have financial freedom.
So when COVID happened, all of this came up because of COVID. So COVID has been a very bad thing. I understand that, but at the same time, I didn't allow it to slow me down. Yeah. And as soon as, so backstory. After graduating in 2019, May of 2019, I needed to pass the physical therapy board examination. It's an examination that if you want to be a physical therapist or any professional therapist, you need to take this examination. Yeah. It's a timed exam and it's 250 questions, right? If you don't you only can take it if you don't take it, pass it within 6 tries, you will never be able to be a physical therapist.
Wow.
There are some states, I think it's like 5.
Yeah.
If you never pass it within those 5 tries, you'll never be able to be a physical therapist. So I took it in, I think, July of 2019, and I was not successful. I took it again in October of 2019, and I was not successful.
So that's 2 times.
That's 2 times.
That's 2. I'm counting over here. That's 2.
I only have 4 more to go. But I was depressed, wasn't eating. I was mad at everybody.
Yeah.
My mom, I'm an only child, but I was mad at everybody. Like, not mad because I didn't pass, but they were trying to help, but they couldn't understand how to help. They were giving words of affirmations and stuff like that, but it was just not what I needed to hear.
So would you say, because now I want to look at it from a point of view for somebody that is pursuing their dreams, but they feel like the people that's supporting them more so aren't supporting them the way that they need to. Mm-hmm. Is that a bad thing, or is it just that it's something that you need at the moment? So the selfish you is more so saying, listen, if you're going to help me, I need you to help me in the way that I need you to.
Yes. At times, I think the people who are trying to help should allow that person to go through those emotional roller coasters. It's very important that they travel that route, that go on that ride, because if they don't go on the ride, they're not going to be able to learn how to manage their emotions as they progress through life.
That's important.
Yeah. So back to how this all started. I was working part-time at the clinic, the outpatient clinic, on a temporary license, meaning that I had to be supervised by a senior clinician in order to treat, right? I could only apply for the license twice. After that, I can't work as a physical therapist on a temporary license, and I have to pass the board. Mind you, remember, I took it 2 times already, and I failed. I delayed taking it in January and said, okay, I'm going to take it, I think in, I forgot, May or April. I think in April. So when COVID happened, my supervisor at the time called me and said, you call me early in the morning. I'm normally up by 5 a.m. every morning, and he knows this. So I was the first call he made, and he said, right now the company has to furlough workers. And seeing that I'm a new clinician, I'm the first one to go. Yeah. And honestly, I wasn't even upset. I don't know, like there was a calmness that came over me that allowed me, like I was sitting at my desk studying, and I sat back, and when I got off the phone with him, I put the phone down, and I was like, okay, first thing, I need to pass the boards the next time around, and I need to develop something that's gonna give me a foot in the door. And I came up with either I'm gonna go to the company after passing the board and request a seat at the board. And I'm thinking that's not gonna happen because I'm a new clinician. They're gonna be like, what is this guy talking about? So I was like, okay, the next best thing is I need to make sure I have my own company. And at that time, that's when but then I was like, that's a crazy idea. Why would I do some crazy stuff like that?
Open up, yeah. Especially in the middle of a pandemic.
In the middle of a pandemic. But I spoke to one of my uncles, and he's like, if you truly want it, go for it. But I didn't know how to go about it or anything like that. And one of my aunts, my aunt, she decided she's good with these type of things. So he said to reach out to her and see what she said. And I said, hey, I have this crazy idea. I want to create a company and this and that. And she said, come over, and she helped me with the process. She helped me register the company at first, but hold on. We didn't know how to do this thing. Not knowing that as a professional, you need to register a specific type of company, right? And we need to get approval from from New York State. So I'm fast forwarding a little bit. At that time, I passed the board. I'll go back to how the boards went and everything. So after fast forwarding a little bit to when after I passed the board, I decided to create this company. Created the company and worked with another company in order to get the paperwork in. It's like a 6 months process. Hopefully by the time this interview head out, everything is complete and, But we created the company I created the company, and from ever since then, I've been operating as a physical therapist for Condison Physical Therapy. Still furloughed by my primary care,
but you push it
but I didn't let that stop me.
Yeah.
And that also helped me with that. The money I got from well, we shouldn't talk about money, but that allowed me to basically focus on my own goals and knowing how to operate as a business owner.
So there's two things that I want to connect your story with, because there's something about you, I'm pretty sure that is that you have this grit about yourself where it seems like you target one thing and no matter what, you're going to keep on going towards it. So I want to push back a little bit towards before your glory. So I heard your glory, now I want to hear more about your story, because you failing the exams, not giving up, the pandemic happening, you hearing you're going to be furloughed, you're like, you know what, wait a minute, hold on, I'm just going to have to go another direction and pursue my dream. But when you came here, when you first came to America, you had some struggles pretty much with trying to find information and getting the right information to get towards your dream. So my thing is, what type of mindset does one have to, before I even get to that question, tell me about how difficult it was for you to get the information just to pursue your dream.
Well, I'm Jamaican, if you guys don't realize by the accent. So coming from Jamaica, most Americans think of Jamaica as an island of paradise. But the reality of the situation is that Jamaica is a third world country, and there are houses without running water or bathrooms that you have to go to the outside bathroom in order to relieve yourself. That's the reality of the situation. My family wasn't rich or anything like that. Like, the stories I hear from my mother coming up and her siblings, we were pretty poor. But they overcame, and it has been an ascent, steady ascent, where it reached to me, and it's up to me now to carry the baton. But when we came to this country, not knowing much about the country and how to operate in the country, we went to, I started going to Thomas Jefferson High School.
I know what that is. Yeah. I know Thomas Jefferson High School.
Wasn't the best high school in the world or anything like that, but I had a cousin who was a math teacher in the school at the time, and family decided, okay, you can go to Jefferson. And when we got there, they were trying to get us out in terms of having us graduate because the school was closing down. Right now it's known as Thomas Jefferson Campus with like 4 different schools in it. So there was not a lot of information out there for students who wanted to go to college and stuff like that. Didn't know much about using computers. I had to seek assistance from, I don't remember their titles, but there were 2 ladies who actually helped me with like the college process and how to apply for colleges and stuff like that. Very thankful for them. I'm still in communication with them to this day.
Nice.
But with that being said, I ended up going to a school. I always knew I wanted to be a physical therapist since I think junior or end of sophomore year in high school, because I was an athlete and I was always getting injured. So I was always in these professionals' office. That inspired me. That goes to show you, like, the environment you're exposed to help determine what path you take in life. So true. Me being injured, going to these offices and seeing how these professionals operate, I'm like, oh, I would like to do this. So I didn't just go. I started asking questions. Hey, I think the guy's name was like Dr. Spiridelis. He's a chiropractor, and like, how do you do this? How do you do that? What, and he kind of, you need to do this, but do that. But I ended up going to a school called SUNY Delhi. for electrical controls and PLCs because I didn't know how to get to PT school.
Oh yeah, that's a totally opposite direction from PT. Yeah.
Yeah. So didn't know how to get to PT school, so I went to a school thinking, okay, I'll figure it out here while I try to learn a trade. But while I was in Delhi, class would end at like 1 p.m. every day, and from 1 to 6, 7 o'clock at night, I'm in the computer lab Googling how do you, with 2 fingers, how do you become a physical therapist? And eventually I started gaining information by reading. Remember, I still don't know how to use a computer that well, but typing away with my 2 fingers and getting information. So I started creating a list, and I would call the schools every single day that did physical therapy in New York State.
Nice.
To the point that these people was like, okay, Kareem.
Stop calling.
Yes, we answered that because I didn't even know how to answer, ask questions, and then my accent was a little bit thicker at the time because I was only 4 years removed from being in Jamaica.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. What type of challenges did you have when you first got here with having such a thick Jamaican accent?
Yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult for me to express myself. Would be stuttering a little bit. Would lack confidence. Would be nervous all the time when I have to get up and speak in front of people because I have to be forming my words a specific way, different from the dialect from Jamaica and stuff like that. But with time and practice, it helped me be able to express myself a little bit better so that you could understand me now.
Yeah.
But going back to when I was in Delhi, I used to be writing down the questions that I want to ask these people, ask them the questions, make sure I call this school. Okay, I called this school yesterday, boom. I'm going to call this school tomorrow, boom. I'm going to ask them this list of questions, that list of questions, and I'll go there from time to time. At Delhi, my GPA was like 2.3.
How old were you?
Right now?
No, how old were you when you was around that time?
19. I just turned 19 that September.
And you do realize a lot of 19-year-olds, especially black males, that's not what we're doing around that time. You know, I know I definitely wasn't out chasing girls and trying to figure this out. So it wasn't that,
I was chasing girls and everything like that, man. And that was, I would say it was a good experience and bad experience, but at a certain point I realized that trying to have a bunch of girls and stuff like that, it became a distraction from what I truly wanted to do in my heart, right? As I said, I was in high school, junior year of high school, I knew I wanted to be a physical therapist. I just didn't know how to go about it. And once I got to that school, I started finding ways to get information from the computers and stuff like that. And each school I called, they would give me some type of information that lead me into another direction, And I did that for 2 years. Never taking, probably maybe a Sunday I would take out, but on Saturdays, after hanging out with my friends the night before, I would wake up and I would go to the computer lab just to try and see, okay, what schools can I call when Monday come?
Was there ever a point where you said, you know what, I'm tired, I don't want to do this no more?
No.
Yeah.
No. Not at no point I ever gave up. I was frustrated, obviously. Yeah, I was frustrated, but I never felt like I never wanted to. I don't want to do this anymore.
That's powerful.
You know? Yeah.
That's powerful. So my question to you, right, and I'm trying to think more so from the listeners or the viewer sense is, the pandemic pretty much in being furloughed opened up your eyes to wanting to open up your own business. But what do you feel held you back and took you so long for you to make this move?
Mindset, honestly, mindset. In the beginning of January, I was still stressed out, trying to figure out how am I going to do this thing? How am I going to pass the boards? And I started reading, I don't even remember how I came across the book. And I think it's called, so the book, 2 books, honestly. I think every young individual need to read these 2 books in their life. And
where's my pen? Text it to me later.
I will. One is called The Alchemist by, I think his name is Paulo Coelho, I can't pronounce it, but it's somewhere around there. And all he talk about in the book, all he spoke about in the book is that no matter what you want to become in life, the universe will work in your favor if you truly believe in your hearts of hearts. This is one you want to become.
That's what I've been preaching the whole time. This is what I'm preaching. This is what I be preaching. It's a journey in the mindset.
Yeah, if you truly believe in your hearts of hearts, this is what you want to become, the universe will do everything in its power to guide you on the right track. Even when you get off track, it will always lead you back on that road to becoming whatever it is you want to become.
But what do you say to the ones that say it seems like the universe is always against me?
The universe is not always against you. The universe is preparing you for your ascension. You know?
That's
So
powerful.
that's how I look at about it. I look at it. Going back to the exam, right? I think I needed to fail those 2 times in order to recognize how powerful I can be if I truly want something. Like, I was timid going into the first one. I let other people's facial expression and nervousness, I could feel the nervousness going into the second one of everybody around me going into the second one. But the third one, I buckled down and I said, okay, before I start studying for this exam, I need to work on my mindset. I need to work on my fitness. I need to work on making sure that my sleeping is right. I need to make sure that my dieting is right. Everything down to the last. I crossed every I's and dot every T's to make sure that I was prepared for this exam. So, I mean, like, rigid. I would go to bed a certain time. I'm waking up a certain time. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going through my affirmations while I'm brushing my teeth at 5 o'clock in the morning. I had a routine where I still do this routine. I'm going to McDonald's. I love McDonald's coffee. McDonald's.
Oh my God.
But I have this routine where I walk to McDonald's every morning. I'll finish brushing my teeth like 5:15, heading to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Walk there, I'm listening with one headphones on, still gotta pay attention to what's going on.
Especially nowadays, yeah.
And to the point that at this point, they have my coffee ready for me. I don't need to join the line to go get my coffee.
That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
So I say that because everything you need to be very specific in what you're going after. You need to plan exactly what you want. Yes, you're gonna have like deviations along the way, but if you have a base that you're working from, like the plan that you're working from, no matter what goes on and throw you off path, you know you always could come back to that base. So for the exam, I studied, did everything, making sure my mindset was right, was eating the same exact meal and every single day. I knew when I'm gonna go to the bathroom. That's how focused I needed to be.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know if once I eat this, I have 2 hours that I need to use the bathroom. Okay? Once I finish that 2 hours, 4 hours later, I'm gonna need to use the bathroom again. So it was a mindset thing. I didn't even tell family members that I was gonna take the exam a third time, when I was gonna take the exam a third time, because the pandemic was canceling exams all over New York State. I had to go to Connecticut to actually take the exam the third time. And when I was leaving out to Connecticut, my mom didn't know, nobody knew that I was going to Connecticut to do the exam. My aunt was the only person that knew, and the reason is I needed somebody to come and pick me up and bring me to Connecticut, and she didn't even know that I was taking the exam until like a few days getting into Connecticut.
Your story has blown me away. One thing that you said was that when you started to get focused, it wasn't just about your mind, your body.
Yeah.
You had to eat right. You had to make sure you put yourself on a sleeping schedule. How important is that stuff? Because someone like me, which started working out this year, I started running and I started to see that I was able to think clearly. My sleeping has always been bad. I probably sleep every night, probably 4 hours. I'm up by 5 o'clock. But I seen that when I started running, I started to think more freely. The having those little sad days or those bad days started to become less and less. Things that I didn't. But I also, the biggest thing was I was focused. Yeah. So I changed the way I ate. I made sure that if I'm going to run, my running schedule was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I stuck to it. Yeah. But how important is it for someone that's going into that's walking into their journey or moving towards a goal to understand that when you are being focused, it's an all-rounded thing. It's not just, oh, my head is there. You have to really be committed to it, like mind, body, and soul. How important is that?
It's very important. If one is off, the whole, it's like a chain, right? You have links in the chain. If one link in that chain is weak, the chain is going to break, right? So the mind, body, and soul. If your body is not right, how do you expect your mind to operate? If your soul is not right, they balance each other out. So in my company's logo, the triangle that you see. Yeah. Well, I didn't show you the logo, but I'll show it to you. There's a triangle, mind, body, and soul. It all plays into who you are and how you could overcome anything, including injury. So a lot of times patients will think, oh, fix me, get me to recover. But I always say to them, it's a partnership between you and I. I'm responsible for 50% of your care, and I need to do 100% in order to get to my 50%. You need to do 100% to get to your 50%. That includes making sure that your mind, your body, and your soul is all aligned. If those are not aligned, no matter how much I do, it's going to take you that much longer to get better. You know, it's going to extend your rehab. And once we can work through those things, it's a smooth process, you know?
I want to give you a scenario, and then we're gonna do something that's traditional in Journey to Mindset. Then we wrap it up. But I just have to I have to do a scenario with you. I'm someone random accident, more so, whatever the case may be. I come in to you. Doctor tells me that there's a chance that I will never walk again. Not something that is permanent, but there's a possible chance that you may not walk again. I come into you. They send me to you. Have to work with you. I'm just down on my luck. Not really motivated. Already got this in my head. I might not walk again, so why try? What do you say to your patient?
For that patient, I would actually try to go deeper. I wouldn't focus a lot initially on the injury. I would try to just talk to them. Some of the time, the person just needs somebody to talk to, somebody to actually vent to, somebody not to give their opinion, but actually listen to what they're saying. And I would start off by just listening at first, and then go from there based off what they're saying to me. That's so I wouldn't. It's hard for me to say once, like, give a specific answer. Yeah. It all depends on what the conversation leads us into. By me listening and processing what they're saying, then we go into a direction that I think would be appropriate in that instance.
So when you're working with your patients more so, you don't just look at the physical need of them having to either walk again or get over this injury. You also work on the way they think as well, which is something that's very important.
Yes, it is.
So I want to do something that's tradition here in Journey to Mindset. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up and I just want you to look into that camera. And for those of you that's listening to Journey to Mindset on any of the podcast stations, which, by the way, we got accepted and approved, and now we're on iHeartRadio. So you can go on iHeartRadio and listen to it. But if you're listening on any of the podcast platforms, you can actually watch this podcast on YouTube at 143 Speaks. But traditionally here on Journey to Mindset is I want you to be able to look into that camera, have that one-on-one time with the listeners and the viewers, and I want you to just give them some word of advice, encouragement, anything that lands on your heart. No specific topic, no specific question. It's whatever lands on your heart. So I'm going to step away and give you 60 minutes. I mean, 60 minutes. Not 60, that's too long. 60 seconds to just talk to them one-on-one, and it's just whatever lands on your heart. Okay. All right. I'm out of here.
Well, what I want to say is that life is about peaks and valleys, And we all go through ups and downs. So the peaks is when we are at our highest, and the valleys is when we're at our lowest. How we maneuver through those things is important though. So if you're on a high, you have to recognize that you're on that high and take note of when you start to descend, because the sooner we're able to adjust during that descent, once we hit the ground, hit that valley, the faster we're able to bounce back up and get back to that high. So don't get too high, never get too high, never get too low. Always try to operate on an even keel and control the emotions as best as you can. Hopefully that was helpful, and you know.
Don't get nervous, it's all right. People do this all the time. You know what? I'm terrible at that, by the way, because I'm always leaving people there too long, and then they think that they have to take up the whole 60 seconds, but they don't. So don't worry, everybody does that. Yeah. But I just want to say that from the moment I heard about you, I knew that this was going to be a great conversation. And then when we spoke on the phone and I'm listening to your story, it was even the way you told your story that stuck out to me, because you remind me a lot about me, and it's like no matter how hard or no matter how painful things get, you just keep on going. At one point in time in life, I felt like I was the type of person that I just kept letting things happen to me all the time. I had to deal with this pain. I had to deal with this pain in order to be free, in order for me to be able to live the life that I want to live. And then I learned that, you know, that it's okay to take the easy road sometimes. But no matter what, no matter how easy, no matter how hard, you have to be willing to push through no matter what. And when you was telling your story to me over the phone, I connected with you right away, because I was like, you know what? We have the same mindset. And it's funny because you just finished registering your business. We didn't even notice, and I just finished registering my business. So it's like those two good minds think alike. Those two good minds think alike. And I really hope that one, that this is not the last time we talk to each other. Two, this is not the last time that you come on to Journey of the Mindset, but we definitely can connect in the future, and hopefully the empires that we are going to build can connect and do business with each other. All right. So I want to definitely thank you for coming on to the show. But before we go, where can they find you? Because I know I'm going to get all the DMs and all of the questions and everything else. So what's your social media and where can they find you?
Well, right now I'm at on IG, Kareem Condison. So it's KareemCondison. For the business, the business site is coming up for maybe a week or two. CondisonPhysicalTherapy.com. Email address condisonphysicaltherapy@gmail.com.
You heard it from him. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in to Journey of the Mindset. Don't forget to go back and listen to old stuff, listen to new stuff, but most importantly, make sure that you share it. It does not matter what goes on here, not unless you share it. Give it to the people that you think need to hear it most. Don't forget, if you fall down in life, make sure you land on your back so that way you can look back in the direction that you should be going in. Les Brown said that, and I'm a firm believer. Until next time, world family, peace.